day for quilt making. Every day is a beautiful day for quilt making. There's where we live for now. Here's our art studio. There's our property, and this is our plot for the tiny house we're going to build. But for now, we're going to go in here and make quilts.
Hi, I'm Jerry, and this is Ann, and welcome to Fun with Quilts.
Welcome to Quilt As Inspired.
Hang on. Let me get myself ready.
I was wondering. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah. You're beautiful. So, you want to make your first quilt?
Yes.
I present to you my book, Quilt As Inspired.
Yay.
I'll sign it later for you.
Thank you.
So, you're going to attempt to do this quilt
by myself. With the teacher here, but I'm not allowed to ask questions.
Yes, you are.
No.
You're going to have questions. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, no. Oh, it has pictures. Thank God, it should be good.
Okay.
Yes.
So, fabrics. We bought from Gail's garage sale.
Yes.
Superhero fabric. A whole bag of superhero fabric.
Like
for $5.
$5.
And you spotted it.
Yes.
And that has inspired you.
Yes.
To make a quilt.
To make my first quilt.
Quilt As Inspired.
Yeah.
Okay. So those fabrics are right over here. Wait, let me dig through this mound of stuff here. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. You get to pick. You get to pick out the fabrics you're going to use in your quilt. There's a whole bunch.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so start picking.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Look at.
Oh my God.
The Avengers.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, Spider-Man. Love that.
Oh,
well, let's see.
Cool. This is a little one. It's got like comic book covers on it.
I love it. That's what I love.
There's some more of it. With the comic
oh my
book
God,
covers.
look at you.
Oh my God, this is going to be so amazing.
Oh, we got to have that. Kaboom, boom, pow. It's okay, honey. Something just fell. There's nothing in here with us.
No. That's all of it.
Okay. That's a really good start.
Yes.
I'm super, super excited for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now your next step is to read.
Yes.
The first step.
Okay.
You can read through all the other stuff later. It talks about machine setup and free motion quilting and where you get into trouble and how to fix it. But I'll help you with that part.
I give up already.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't.
No. Okay.
Okay, scroll through to the step 1 of the actual quilt making.
But baby,
what?
I don't know the quilt police, the machine basics. I got to read all of this
Yeah,
stuff.
you do. You definitely do.
Wait, where am I going again?
Keep going to step 1. Your inspiration page, the free motion quilt. There's lots of stuff before you get to the actual quilt. Okay, so this is the quilt that I made that you're going to work on with superhero fabric. It's called the Nordic Log Cabin.
Okay.
And now it says gradually gathering materials. So inspiration fabric is all of this. You're inspired, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now here's section 1, the
did
centerpiece.
I go too far?
No, the centerpiece will set the stage. The centerpiece, which has been drawn, stitched out, and painted. That's kind of advanced stuff, but we can get you going on it. You said you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I can do it. Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
You got this.
I don't know if I can do this.
Are you real scared?
I'm just gonna nap on
No, don't nap. You just woke up.
it.
You got this.
Yeah, I think I want to do the middle piece, my centerpiece of this quilt as like a Stan Lee tribute.
That is such a phenomenal idea because he is like the center of the Marvel universe.
Yes.
and he can be the center of your quilt. There's
Yes.
a number of ways we can go about this. I am so excited. Good idea, honey.
Thanks. I'm just full of good ideas. It's what I do.
Must be because you're reading my book.
Yes, your book has inspired me to have good ideas. Yes.
Thanks for saying that.
You're welcome, baby.
Way to take credit. It's your idea. It's a phenomenal idea. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to, I'm noticing your blocks here with the different drawings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's nice to have the fabric with the superheroes already on the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it's cool to design each block around a superhero.
Oh, such a good idea. So you could actually do like a traditional quilt block with the superhero colors.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love
Yeah,
it.
like-
There is some applique and some block design. And then you would use the superhero colors. Phenomenal.
Yeah. I don't know about appliqué because I don't speak French, but I think I agree with what you said. We went and searched for copyright-free photos on the internet, and we found one that we both liked, I think, and then we posterized it. So now this is it, and we're going to take our Sharpie pen and we're going to outline for the values we're going to use for the fabric that we picked out and then piece it together.
Very nice.
I'm trainable. All right.
Yeah. Yep. We're not going to actually piece it though. We're going to applique it, which means we're going to stick it. Because if we piece that, that would be crazy. But we're going to. No, you're fine. Applique. Yeah.
Got it.
I know you don't speak French, but now you do.
Now I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you're going to draw every little color swatch.
Yes. Here we go.
This is a time-intensive part of it, but it's really important to get the scale right.
Mm-hmm.
Now the tiny little pieces like here, we won't worry about that too much. We can always throw in little tiny pieces. We'll refer to our photo as we work. But that's going to be pretty crazy you don't have to draw all that out. We can certainly use little pieces of fabric. We can even use paint to put the details in as we might need them, but we won't know until we actually start putting this together. So now we're just cutting the background away. We've drawn the lines of the applique pieces we think we're going to use, but now we're going to cut the background away to make sure we like the shape of his head, and we will trim where necessary. Then we'll be ready to get these applique pieces cut out of fabric and draw him on our background piece.
Only my first grade teacher could see me now.
She'd be so proud.
Yeah.
What about your home ec teacher?
She's dead.
Go.
So now we've got the original picture, and we also have the cutout picture of the tracing I did for the fabrics. Now I'm told each one of these little mappy thingies is gonna be for the fabric thingies. It's gonna be so adorable. And then I thought, well, his hair needs to be shiny. So I found shiny material, and I have another gray. And I guess I have to have values.
Yes, very nice.
Thank you. I just call them different shades, but it's values. But these two look very similar, so I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to use those two. I think I need one more darker for this
so.
here.
Yep.
Here, I can use this
Ooh.
for the very dark, and it's going to give them swirly McSwirlies. It's all going to be great. So I've decided these are going to be his 3 values for his hair. And I think I only need 3 values, so that's done. Thank you.
You could also bring,
and these tubes.
for his really white part of his hair, you can bring this polka dot fabric back in, the same one for his teeth. Yeah.
I'll do that. That's going to be great. So then, what I found was, I know in the picture it's just a white collar. I found this really light fabric green.
Yeah, I think we just keep them all aside, and we will audition them as we play with them.
Now we're going to go with skin tones.
That dark one would be good for the shade, for some of the shades.
This one?
So see how there's different shades on that one, where you could actually use some of the dark, some of the light, and really get some of those lines in and just take advantage of the hand dyed of that fabric.
Yeah.
So that might be good for some dark shades of his face.
Yes.
So we'll keep that one aside
So
for
we'll
sure.
do this one for sure.
Yeah.
And I am going to use this dark fabric for his glasses.
Oh, that's so perfect because it looks kind of like,
Yeah.
it looks like there's light shining on the glasses, so you'll get that reflection from that fabric.
I really
it's a
like
perfect
that.
fabric for glasses.
Perfect.
And you decided not to even do his eyes, right? You're just going to do dark sunglasses.
Dark sunglasses.
I kind of love this for the main sweater.
This one?
Yeah, the main sweater color.
Okay.
Because then you've got these two things, like this one's dark.
Like this one?
Mm-hmm. So if you put that there, that could be like for the shadow. But look at how it's hand dyed, so you can play with the different values and shades here.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this can be the shadow.
I'm excited about that.
No, it's going to be really cool. And they're the same hue, meaning they've got a lot of yellow in that green. But besides that, this, which you might use for his undershirt, has a lot of yellow in it. So this all goes. It's really harmonious. The background, we don't know what we're going to do the background, right?
No, I have some ideas.
Okay.
I'm going to keep secret until the quilt's all done.
Until the quilt's all done. Amy, until this block is done.
I know, that's what I meant.
Okay.
I'm being silly.
Next step, we need to make these into applique pieces.
Yeah, and also, FYI, FI is also fusible in instrumentation lacing person. I forgot the word.
Interfacing.
Interfacing.
Oh my God, you have so much to learn.
Okay.
Okay. So, now that you've gotten most of your fabrics picked out, you know which ones you're going to use, I'm going to have you cut an 8-inch square off each fabric.
Okay.
What do we talk about with these scissors?
These are serrated scissors that are just made for fabric. I had to read a disclosure. I had to sign it, eat it, and swallow it, and then cross my heart and swear never to use these with paper.
Yeah.
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 Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So you know.
I know.
Fabric only.
Fabric only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. So with that, just cut roughly an 8-inch square. You can use this little thing as a ruler if you want to.
This one, I just got this set up.
I think there's a ruler right down there on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay.
So it doesn't have to be perfect because we're just going to fuse. You're going to fuse the back of each 8-inch square with Misty Fuse. So this stuff is like spider web. It's kind of tricky to use, but
Spiderweb, like
Spider-Man. That's
Yay.
perfect. So when you tear Misty Fuse apart, this is my favorite fusible interfacing because you can stitch right through it. It sticks really well, and it's not going to gum up your needle. The only drawback to this is that there's not a paper side to trace on. So while you cut your 8-inch squares, you're going to cut a 7-inch piece of this just to ensure it doesn't run over the fabric. And then you're going to iron this onto the fabric. But I'm going to be right here walking you through. I know this is a lot of information. But in essence, what we're doing is fusing all of the fabrics first. That way we can cut the template pieces out of your drawing and trace them onto the fabric, and then they'll already be fused. So by the time you cut it, the backing will be fused and the edges won't fray.
Okay, I am going to cut my first ever 8-inch square, and I'm telling you, I'm already having issues.
Yeah, and get some good variation of color. Like whenever I go to cut it, and obviously we're cutting the selvage.
Well,
this is called a selvage. Obviously.
Wait, we're cutting it off?
Yeah, that would not be included in your 8-inch square. That goes away.
Because that's extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm liking, like, remember, this is going to be the shadow of his sweater, so we'll want that kind of mottled look.
But what about this? It even has a shadow within a
No, it
shadow.
does. It's beautiful. It really just depends on, and you can make this decision, but it depends on how much shadow you want and what it's going to look like with your main one. So grab your main green. So it's whatever you think the best shadow is.
Do you think that's too dark? I think this would be too dark.
Yeah. So what I would say is if you were to cut the 8-inch square within here, with each applique piece, you can make decisions on what one you want, but at least you'll have a lot of different colors in this shadow. Here's a little tip.
Yes.
You actually can make a cut at the 8" and rip it down about 8 inches. Make another little cut here and rip it.
Like rip it with my hands?
Yeah, I'll show you. Let's do it. So go ahead and cut about an 8"
How?
Where
like
you want.
This?
Sure.
Really?
Well, you could just mark it with your finger like this, and then just make a little slice. You can lift it up. It's not gonna hurt.
That makes way more sense.
Just a little slit.
Okay.
And then 8 inches from there, make another one. I mean, this is a rough cut. Like, nobody's dying here.
It's just a cut.
It's just a rough cut. It does not have to be perfect. We're just fusing a section of fabric.
Okay, the cuts are in.
Okay, so now just take your hands and rip. Go ahead.
You serious? This is legal?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you don't have to manage the fabric. It's a little faster, slicker. So that's perfect. So now you've got a lot of options for a lot of sweater fabric choices.
This is a lot more difficult than it looks.
Oh, Misty Fuse is a bear to work with, but I'll tell you, it's totally worth it.
It's totally worth it.
It's the best fusible on the market. Yeah, this is rough cuts here, people.
Rough cuts, people. I am in no way an expert. I'm at least 2 minutes away from that.
At least.
At least. Minimum 2 minutes.
You're just starting your 10,000 hours of mastery, honey.
Oh my gosh. Now we have our 8"
Yeah,
square.
that's great. That's perfect.
And this is more like, or 7.5.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go 7.
So now you want to flip your fabric over so that take the Misty. So sorry.
Understand.
It's
now.
okay. Everybody mixes it up.
Yes.
All right. Before you press that on, I think you should grab the iron and make this flat first. Just press the square without that.
Yes.
Now, of course, we can't just press the iron onto Misty Fuse because it's going to be a total mess.
Yes.
So what we have underneath on our work surface is a Teflon sheet.
Fine.
Let it cool for a minute.
Yes.
Make sure all the strings are not on the fabric because those will show through on the fusible.
Okay.
All right. And then once it's cooler, go ahead and put your Misty Fuse on. Go ahead and center that on. Nice.
Okay.
Good. And then you're going to put parchment paper over that.
Okay.
So we've made sure that the Misty Fuse is centered on the wrong side of the fabric. You got the parchment paper on, and now you can just press that with an iron. Just iron over the whole thing for 5 seconds total, and we'll see how that does.
All right.
Okay? Yep.
5 seconds total is the answer. And here we go. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Okay, so put the iron down for a minute. Don't attempt to lift this up yet.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta let it cool before, otherwise that stuff's gonna lift right up with it.
So we're gonna start at the corner. Don't just rip it off, I've been told. Like a maniac. Oh, nice. Wow. Yeah, it's coming off real nice.
Good. Yep. And now you can pretty much just rip it off. It's good. Nice. Right. And you can reuse the parchment paper over and over and over again. Same with the Teflon sheet. If anything gets on your sheet, you can just let it cool and dry, and you just flake it off with your finger. Yeah. So there you go. So now when you flip that back over, you've got all kinds of different shade colors that you can use for his shadow. So it's awesome. We decided that we are going to fuse probably piece on top of piece, starting from the background and coming up to the lightest colors. And that's another good reason to use Misty Fuse, because if you're stacking applique pieces like this, it's going to get way too thick and gummy for your needle. So Misty Fuse will allow you to be able to stack these applique pieces on top of each other and still stitch, even if it's by hand or by machine. So, okay, you've got your work cut out for you this evening.
Hello again. So I've taken the photograph that I traced out and I cut out, and then what I did was I took my copier and I made one more copy, and I cut out a 12-inch square blue piece of fabric.
12 and a half.
12 and a half,
Yep.
sorry.
Nope, for seam allowance.
For seam allowance.
Yeah.
So I took that copy, I placed it under my fabric on a light box, And now I have this for a reference. Because of the dark fabric, I can still see the outlines, but some parts it is difficult, so I'm just going to use this as a reference to make sure I'm outlining this correctly onto the fabric. And then this is where we're going to put the applique pieces onto this fabric, because I'm going to use those for the template to cut them out. Well, I'm actually going to use this for the template to cut them out, but piece them back on here like a puzzle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yay. So we're going to trace these lines, and we'll come back and show you what it looks like all traced out.
So as you can see, after I traced it, it wasn't a perfect match, but that's okay, because once we start to cut these out and we have the perfect pieces for our fabric, this is really a reference point, and it'll still go together like a puzzle piece, and we still have a perfect outline of where it is, so it'll all fit in here.
I think so.
Another thing is, don't touch your chalk lines. I've been instructed, because your chalk lines will disappear, and then you have to do this all over again. So our next step, I believe, is going to be to cut these out in the fabrics I've chosen and piece this together. And hopefully this will look like Stanley when we're done.
Yep, you've got all your 8-inch fabrics fused.
Okay, so now it's time to cut out our template pieces.
We're gonna just cut out this whole section, even including that.
Baby, you almost got your fingers cut off.
Oh my gosh, that was not good safety.
No.
So sorry.
As a safety officer, I must let you know that you have one demerit.
I deserve it.
I'm so nervous.
Oh, you're all shaky.
Well, that's probably due to no breakfast.
You're so excited to get up and work on your quilt.
And just being nervous that I'm gonna mess this template up.
Nah. Remember, we do have a copy. You always want to keep an extra copy just in case things get funky. So the big piece of that is your main color of your sweater, which is this guy here.
Yeah, but look, I've already noticed how it doesn't really match up with here.
Looks good, but there's a lot of little things that can happen when you cut your fabrics. They're not going to be perfect.
Okay.
And we're just going to get close.
Okay.
Okay? So then what you're going to do is take that template and make sure it's the right side of your template facing up and the right side of your fabric facing up.
Okay.
And whatever color you want to do, there's a multi-color.
So question.
Yeah, tell me.
So this is the medium part of his shirt, not
Correct.
the light. And this is what we decided. Thank you for keeping track of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. You're going to trace this template out exactly on the line.
Okay.
However, we are going to be stacking this piece on top of that piece, right? The darker one for his shadow. So rather than trying to butt it up and put it on the same layer exactly, what we're going to do is you'll draw the line out, but when you cut it, you're going to cut a little bit of an extra piece on this side because we've got to lay a template over it.
Okay.
And at least that will take care of any gaps that's going to happen. So we'll definitely talk about that.
Okay.
This stuff, this shirt and the shadow is laying over it too, so I would say we're going to cut an extra little 1/8 of an inch here.
Okay.
So go ahead and outline it perfectly on the line. But this is an erasable pen, so we're doing this on the right side of the fabric because when you hit the iron to it, it'll erase the pen mark. Perfect.
I'm scared of cutting my finger off.
Well, cut that piece off, you know, just get rid of this bulk off. Yeah, that's usually what I do. Get rid of that business. There you go.
That's because you have common sense and troubleshooting skills.
Or because I've only done this 100 times before. Awesome.
Okay.
Hey, look.
Okay.
A lot of funky things happen in the tracing. This is great. Just make sure your...
But look at this. Like, this part's gonna get covered up now. This little shadow piece. If we put it up there, then that gets covered.
Well, you want to cover part of it. So if you put that point in the line right there, which it's supposed to be, and that's great. This line really, this is the edge of your template, and you want that to cover because when you put the shadow on, it'll go over that little piece right there.
Okay.
If you don't partially cover that line, let's say you cut it perfectly to template and the template would sit here. If this isn't cut perfectly and it doesn't butt up, you're gonna see the blue through it. So I always leave a little bit of extra fabric, but I think your template is just fine. I really do.
So there's no need to fold my arms and pout?
No, there's no need at all. This is actually perfect.
Okay.
Now, because you know this is going under the shadow coming up along here and the shadow here and a shirt, you can actually go ahead and iron this on to the piece.
There we go.
Okay. And just one little, that's good. Good, now that's just in place. You've got part of his sweater on. It's awesome.
Yay.
You did good. So now you have this teeny tiny skinny little shadow piece.
Yes.
And the same color is going to be cut out of that, right?
Yeah.
Right here. And that's your darker green. So let's find that guy.
Oh.
Yeah. So then you're going to do the same thing. So that goes face up on your fabric, face up. And then you have to just decide what color of dark, like how dark do we want this? This is under his shirt, so I'm thinking pretty dark would be fine. Just a little bit. Come up away from the fabric because you might have to cut outside your template, but trace it directly on the template.
Okay.
Nice. Now remember, we have this little tiny guy right here. That's fine. Yeah, you want just a general idea of what that shadow is, and then just make sure that when you cut it, the top of his shoulder is a nice round shape, because that's going on the outside of your square, so you want that to be a good shape. The rest of it's a shadow, and it's a shirt, and it's fabric, and it's cloth, so it doesn't really matter if you cut it.
Finding just like when I'm sketching, you just take your time on the details.
Exactly.
It's not pleasant to trace this little guy.
No, it isn't. It's necessary evil if you want to do a photo, for sure. Oh, that looks really good. Beautiful job.
Okay.
So we just want to make sure that the outside of his shoulder is nice and round. It's really close. And if you notice on the template, the shadow doesn't go all the way up here. So you can pull it down. I would say just cut that little jag off and just make that outer curve as rounded as possible. That's probably pretty good. I mean, it is a shirt, so it's not like it has to be a perfect... I mean, that looks like a nice dark part of his shoulder.
It's okay if that hangs down a little.
Yeah, because it's going to be our seam allowance. So if anything falls off that way, it doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
I like it. I'm happy with that. And any of these little jagged thread pieces here, we're going to stitch over this. So you're going to be able to cover that all up. Good. And we don't have to worry about the Frixion pen erasing here because we have chalk lines. So nice. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to just keep going in this fashion, and we'll take a little slideshow pictures after you get a couple pieces on, and we'll just show your progression in that way. How about that?
That will be wonderful.